Halloween forever.
Hey, happy holidays, first of all.
Happy holidays, Brian.
Not there yet. I mean, maybe when you hear my beer, maybe I'll feel that way. I don't know.
All right, all right. Well, what do you get when you deep fry Santa Claus?
I don't know.
You guys can get this. I bet you'll get it.
Santa Crisp?
Close, crisp Kringle. Welcome, boys and ghouls, to another very festive minisode of Halloween's Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm kind of happy with that one. I don't think I was gonna. Yeah, I don't think I was gonna get that one. So it's okay.
Hey, that almost seems like a curmudgeon-y response. Like this is like an anti-Christmas joke, and I'm here for it. Like I appreciated it. You know, I actually thought about it and thought that I could actually come up with a response for that one. It was good.
Yeah, you were close. You were on the right track. You were sniffing.
Brand.
You were sniffing around there. Yeah, Steve's just happy to be right side up right now.
Yeah,
Steve was sideways for a hot sec before we started recording. We were exchanging horse pics of Meg on what is the holy day of her birth. Happy birthday to Meg. We are recording this on her birthday. When this comes out, it will be past her birthday. But Meg turning 51. How old 51, are you, Meg?
Yeah, no, 51's good.
No, you're younger than us. You're 30.
I think I'm 35.
I knew that.
35,
this is also I have like 5 friends' birthdays today. So and they're all in their early to mid 30s.
Are you all
so it's
assholes the same way?
Yeah, come to think of it, you all suck.
Sassy assholes.
Sassy asses. You're a whole bunch of sassy asses. Yeah, and my brain's not working. One of
our listeners is birthday today, too. He messaged me earlier today. I think his name is Ricky. Yeah.
Nice.
I thought that was cool. He listens to us every week.
Birthday.
So
it must have been 9 months
birthday.
ago. This very day was a good day for fucking. Because everyone's parents was boning it out.
Yeah, real horny.
People just laying up nuts. What happened? What's 9 months ago? February?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just boring.
March, yeah.
March.
So we're talking like Valentine's Day. Wow, we got some romantic.
That's what it is.
Romantic verse, romantic fucking.
Or it's that thing where like it's a bunch of just real squares that only fuck 4 times a year, and one of them's on Valentine's Day.
I think it's more. It would be
that
more.
Might be on brand for my life. Yeah.
I think it'd be more March-ish, probably.
I ain't trying to do that math.
Yeah, I think you're
St. Patty's Day fucking.
Yeah, that's what
Drunk
it is.
St. Patty's Day fucking.
Yeah.
Could be.
It's spring cleaning of the pipes. Heyo.
Heyo.
Your mom's got nutted in.
What up? So I am, like I said, I am still sick. I still got some sort of flu. I mean, it's the flu. I know it is because we all have it.
I thought you were just high.
Oh, I wish I should have gotten high. But no, I am sick. And that's coincidentally, my stone face and my flu face look very similar. And my voice and just general disposition. But guys, we here, right? We're here we're creeping down to the big day where we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's what you guys do on Christmas, right?
Is this going to come back to TV? Because I feel like somehow you need to figure out.
I wish we knew. Actually, if I was smart, I would went back and saw what day Tubi launched, because I would celebrate that more for sure. But in any case, we are sticking to our theme here of talking about spooky ass Christmas horror movies. I've been just cranking through them, as you might expect. Watched my Black Christmas. I have not watched Santa's Sleigh yet, but I was watching clips from it. I saw a little hot sec of it. Got to watch that one. Watched, what else did I watch the other? Oh, I watched Don't Open Till Christmas, which I'd never seen before. Popped up on the old shutters. And that was from 84 or something like that. It was okay. Started out good. Kind of trailed off toward the end, to be honest with you. But we're going to talk about a little flicky that just came out by one Mr. Joe Begos' most recent directorial offering, Christmas Bloody Christmas. We're going to talk about that here in a hot sec, guys.
Hell yeah.
But anything you guys been watching? Any Christmas horror? Any new suggestions popping out there? Oh, I also watched what's the one that has like 9 different names? It's basically Home Alone but French, and Santa Claus is breaking in. It's called like something 961 Père Noël or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
that one.
Yeah,
that one rules. If you haven't seen that one rules. It has another name too. I'll look it up. But what have you guys been seeing out there?
I've not been watching a lot of Christmas horror.
Oh, really?
I've been investigating other Tubi lanes, and then I also watched a fucking Korean kaiju movie that was not very good. But I did want to go back just for a second. If we're looking for a high holy day to celebrate,
okay,
Tubi launched on April 1st.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
I like that. Feels very appropriate.
Yeah, but
for whatever reason.
I watched a Korean kaiju movie called War of the God Monsters. That sounds awesome, right?
Sounds sick, yeah.
And then just like if you look at the photos, like there's a whole bunch of different monsters, and there are like great crazy monster designs in it. But the movie overall is bad. Like
good.
It just
didn't do it for you.
Yeah, it just wastes like almost an hour of just like this reporter trying to find out what this doctor is hiding. Yeah. And the doctor is hiding that he's like basically a climate change. He's a climate change scientist, and his whole thing is like because the glaciers are melting, the kaijus are coming back.
Ooh.
Oh, sick.
So like, I kind of like that concept. I kind of like that concept.
Like modernizing the whole, environmental crisis aspect, which has always been kind of a big part of the kaiju subgenre.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that is like a common theme with it, like as far as like
they used to be all atomic age shit.
Yeah.
So like a lot of them were like, because they all were taken, it was in the 50s and 60s and during the Cold War, and the threat of nuclear war was
so there's always like
and all that.
themes of like governmental, like, or like political type issues. So
it's
always
that.
I tried when that topic came up, I was like interested in it, and I want to dive further. I'm very curious about this genre.
It's pretty common with environmental stuff. So like this movie was from 85 and it was already on like,
I assumed it was newer when you said it.
No, it was from 85 and it was already on the climate change kick.
That's interesting.
And then if you watch Shin Godzilla from 2016, that's very heavily about like the way we pollute Earth and everything. So
it's so weird that kaiju as a horror sci-fi subgenre, it's got to be one of the most like insular subgenres. Like there are so many people who are like diehard horror fans that have never got into kaiju.
Yeah.
And there's also like a bunch of people that are super into kaiju that really don't go into other genres of horror, maybe more sci-fi. Yeah, it's such a weirdly insular one.
It's the prog rock of fucking horror movies.
That's a good way of saying it. It is,
like
which is
that.
probably why. Like, I mean, I know why I got into kaiju movies is because of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like, that 100% got me into it. But I just looked it up just to get. So there's like 9 names for this movie, but if you just like, Google it. It's from 1989. I think it released, I don't know if it was at Cannes or some other festival, as Deadly Games, I think, is what you'll oftentimes find it as. But you'll also find it as 3615 Code Père Noël, which I guess like 3615 is like a kind of like a French 911-ish type of thing, I guess. I don't know. So it's kind of that sort of thing. Yeah. And then you also see it as Dial Code Santa Claus, Game Over, and Hide and Freak. I did see it as that. So it's been released as like 100 different things. But it's basically 1989, so before Home Alone. It's this kid who's just like lives in this like insane... It's like if Richie Rich and Kevin McAllister came together... but then instead of just like kind of silly slapstick, robbers coming to their house, it was a homeless man, an insane homeless man who is dressed as Santa Claus and is trying to murders people. So it's pretty sick.
I kind of like that. That's good.
Yeah.
I really I've been like way too busy to even just like enjoy movies lately, but last night might have been like the first night where I was able, like, wasn't working a double, like was able to just like come home, and I'm actually in a house now, guys, I live in a house.
Oh, indoor Meg. All right.
Indoor Meg. And so after People probably have no concept of what we're talking about. That's fine.
Yes.
I just recently moved. That's fine. That's all I need to know. Watch Bloody Christmas, and then put on this movie called Resurrection. And you guys would probably recognize like a lot of the people in it. I probably should just Google it to know the names, but like you would recognize people. It's a newer movie. Was insanely interesting because like it has like these like cult themes. It has like almost these like not supernatural, but like definitely has like kind of like supernatural type vibes. Like it was cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
This is the one with I believe this is the one I just watched. This is with this one, Andrew Simmons, his name was. This is the one with the girl who the woman who grew up in this like isolated environment, and then there's like this kind of like weird stalker guy who she marries and like tortures her for a long time, and then she gets away.
That's an abridged version. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no,
I like that.
I actually really liked it. I watched it last night and I enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it to folks.
Yeah, because I remember looking up the Rebecca Hall plays Margaret in it, and then it
was in Resurrection. Okay, the guy like specifically was on like a show. Tim Roth.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you'd recognize him from a bunch of shit. Super interesting film though. Like it was fun because like I kind of almost was like wasn't expecting it to get as like dream like state even towards the end of like, and I liked that. I liked where it went, and definitely recommend it to folks.
Yeah, it was like I would say it's like a psychological thriller, but then there are some like weird. Yeah, it definitely creates a situation where you're not sure if the
what's real anymore.
Yeah, there's an unreliable narrator, I guess I should say without spoiling it, but it's pretty sweet.
It was good.
I like that one a lot.
I'm sold.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth a trip. I'm trying to look what the hell else like everyone will know him from, because he's been in
a show,
a bajillion things.
Tim Roth.
Show.
Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Wait, what was that one?
Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think. I want to know.
But that's not what I was thinking of. Like, I know he's in that one, but that's not what I was thinking of.
Incredible Hulk.
Handsome. Oh yeah, Pulp Fiction. There was a show. I got really into the show. It didn't last that long.
Oh, Planet of the Apes. He's in 2001 Planet of the Apes.
Oh, he was in Hateful Eight. He was in Hateful Eight.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. He was the freaking one bad guy in Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in everywhere.
He's in I feel like even to a certain extent, like he doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, I feel like every time I see him act, like he does a really great job, whether he's playing a good guy or a bad guy. He's like clutch. I don't think I ever really.
He's super recognizable, but yeah, it's not a name that I see talked about a ton, which is kind of weird.
Meg, is the show you're talking about Lie to Me, where he plays the fucking guy who reads facial tics?
Yes, I got into that for a little while there. Yes,
that was a fun dumb show, but
yeah, exactly.
What's he do?
The Lie to Me. It's like microaggression type show.
It's not a microaggression. It's micro facial tics.
Yeah.
So like he's a human
of sorts.
What he is he's a human lie detector, and they would bring him in to like interview people, and then he would read their micro tics. And then determine whether or not they're lying. It was a goofy cop drama, like
like
it was like a Rain Man meets CSI.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was fun. It was dumb for an hour to turn your brain off. Like if you don't want to watch fucking Law and Order, watch that.
Hey, I don't think you should talk so down to those shows.
I watched it too.
You called it dumb like 10 times.
Yeah, because it is. Like I can watch things that are dumb. Yeah, I can watch things that are dumb and enjoy them.
Well, people might be like, that wasn't dumb.
Steve likes smart cinema, like Punisher Warzone.
Hells yes.
Things like that. He's a real art house guy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I can recognize that things are garbage, but also enjoy garbage. I eat Arby's, okay? I know it's not fucking Michelin.
I don't even love the way you're talking about Arby's right now.
I love Arby's.
It is not garbage. It is, I would argue, higher quality than most other most other fast food. I just had a conversation with a guy who used to work at Arby's. He's like, no, Arby's is legit. A lot of that stuff's like made in house.
They're the only ones who make gyros and fucking Reubens. Arby's rules, but also I understand it's not Michelin star food. You know,
right?
It's the
that
same
tire
way.
company didn't think it was that great.
Now that we're touching on food, can I share something I'm really excited about today?
Yeah, you sure
my
can.
Birthday. Okay, cool. It is related to food.
Okay.
So where I work, obviously it's a restaurant, and one of the people we work with is Hellbender Bagels, and they make all the bagels in house. And he works with us and stuff like that. He fucking made me a Kummelwick bagel.
Ooh.
Like for beef on weck, it was caraway seeds and salt.
The super
Holy
intense amount of salt. Yeah.
Oh my god. Dude.
I've never had that bagel, but I love an everything bagel, which is I would say a close cousin to that. But yeah, that sounds sick. Why haven't people made that before? I love caraway. I'll just eat caraway.
It almost and even like it's kind of even like I know in the area it's kind of popular to have like the salt sticks of sorts. So it like almost had that vibe, but like add caraway.
I fuck with it.
So.
This is coming from a guy who for lunch today had fried spam, eggs, and just a handful of pickles. So the amount of salt I ingest on a daily basis, like it's not going to be dramatically increased by just eating a bun just covered in salt.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, I guess we should probably say, are you drinking beers? Spoiler alert, I'm not drinking beers. I'm sick.
What?
Guys, I'm sick.
Okay.
I'm drinking, but I am.
Let me I am doing this.
I'm drinking some coffee.
That's cute.
In my Hallmark Christmas mug. And there is a little bit of peppermint mocha creamer in there. So I'm getting festive. I'm just not boozing
some sort of booze in there.
You know what I did try the other night though, Meg? You might, I don't know, maybe your cocktail friends might know this. Apparently, drinking hot Dr. Pepper is like a thing in the South, and people like put like booze in it.
I'm gonna talk to them about this.
So I did this the other night. I wasn't feeling good. So here's what I did. I got a Dr. Pepper, right? Heated it up. All right. Then I put a few little splashes of, I had like a little spiced brandy. All right. Then I put a little cinnamon stick, a little bit of orange peel in there.
You got
it was tasty.
You got bougie as fuck there, bud.
It was lovely.
Mold Dr. Pepper.
Mold Dr. Pepper with brandy. With brandy in it. It was fantastic.
You know what I'm going to do is like, my dad makes glug every year, and I'm going to be like, Dad, you ever thought about putting Dr. Pepper in that? Fuck I mean, Dr. Pepper is delicious. I might come up.
It was a little on the sweet side. Because I put this, I would next time I do it, I'd rather put like rye or something like that in it, because it was coming across pretty sweet. Because I used the spiced brandy that I'm using to baste my fruitcakes on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so it was a little sweet, but in any case, guys,
basting his fruitcakes on a daily basis.
I do.
You know, that just sounds like a lot of masturbation. You should like.
I also do occasionally masturbate. Yes, I also do that. But this is an entirely separate endeavor.
Okay, cool. We're talking about two different things, but like that could be a euphemism. I'm just going to say
approximately the same degree of frequency.
Okay.
At least during the holiday season.
Heard. So hey, I'm gonna say I got kind of festive this weekend.
No shit.
I'm drinking a blizzard of hops.
Oh wow!
Our friends over at Trogs.
Okay, I like that beer.
I absolutely, I really like this beer. But I got their variety pack, and I haven't dove into a Mad Elf yet, but maybe in the next episode. Do
they have pills in that? Is Sunshine Pills in that variety pack?
It's usually it's Dreamweaver and Perpetual as the.
Gotcha. That's such a bummer. You never get Sunshine Pills in any of those variety packs anymore. Sometimes in the summer, I guess you do.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the summer you definitely see that, but I
thought Sunshine Pills came in the one that has like field work.
And
raspberry,
like year-round regular.
The raspberry
pack.
one. I thought it came in that variety pack.
That might be true. But
Trogs. I honestly, they're one of my favorite breweries.
I fuck with Trogs. I absolutely fuck with Trogs.
I think we already talked about it last episode.
Great.
I look forward to Nugget Nectar.
Yes.
Because we talked about the hype beers. Right.
Yeah. We already
Thanks
established.
for
I was
opening
drunk.
Up.
I was drunk last episode.
Only recently closed wounds, Meg.
Moving on.
All right. All right, I'm done.
I got mine.
Love Trogs.
Yeah.
What you got?
I got this fucking camera.
Allagash.
Oh yeah, I got some Allagash.
It sounds fucking metal.
Yeah, so let me tell you about it because it's a lot. And I'm surprised I found it. I found it in like a Giant Eagle Mix of 6. And it's like, why would you guys put this there? Because this is a aged in bourbon barrel. It is meant to be a take on a Boulevardier cocktail.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
which is like that's like a Negroni but with something different in it, right?
I'm not quite sure.
Isn't it like a Boulevardier Negroni but with whiskey or something?
It might be.
Forget.
Yeah. Well, this is brewed with Lambrusco grape must, Angelica root, and bitter orange, and then aged in bourbon barrels. So I think it's. I think you're right, being that it's in bourbon barrels. It's probably like a Negroni made with rye, but also I think the grape must tells me that it's probably mixed with some sort of wine as well, or like sherry.
Let's see. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, it's just with whiskey. It's a Negroni but with whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In its simplest form.
Yeah,
I'd fuck with it.
Yeah,
it's really good though. Yeah, it's it's 9.5%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's goose juice, which I love.
Zooming it up. Zoom.
Juice.
Mm-hmm. I love Allagash, but the last couple of ones that I've picked up that were like their in and out ones, surprisingly not great. That one they had around Halloween.
Oh yeah,
I forget what it's called.
I saw it, but I didn't pick it up. It didn't.
Not good.
It didn't trigger me.
Maybe it was the last year one. Maybe it was a different one this year. I don't know. But what I picked up last year, I don't know if it was the same this year. Was not good.
This one's really good though. I think you might like it. It's like, I mean, the barrel isn't too hot on it, and it's nice and smooth, and you get like some of those fruity notes from the grape must and the orange.
Nice.
So yeah, it's enjoyable.
Well, guys, we got a couple of things we do before we jump into this movie here real quick. First of all, I got to remind everybody, if you didn't already, you should probably go over to the old social medias and give us a follow on the Instagrams or the Twitters or the TikTokies or the Facebooks or whatever. And as always, if you give us one of them little reviews, you put a little 5-star review and you write a little thing, say like, hey, this is a good old podcast or something like that. And then send me a DM. I'll send you some nice stickers in the mail just in case you're looking for some spooky ooky stickers coming through your mailbox with all your Christmas cards. That offer is on the table still. Also, we do need to announce what you picked as your our social media friends and listeners picked from the poll on there. Now we're recording this a little bit early here, so I'm going to let Steve, future Steve announce what we actually get picked here. But let me remind you what those topics were that you had to pick from. First was cosmic horror. Number 2 was, hold on, let me get my voice right for this one, sequels in space. So that's any sequels that end up in the old space, something like Jason X or Leprechaun in space, or there's a Hellraiser in space, shit like that. And then lastly we call Lil Monsters, which is basically any little tiny little ghouly type creatures, or perhaps it's a critter or a munchie or a hobgoblin or some sort of little puppet looking ass creature. But we did decide to exclude gremlins from the mix because we have already talked about several of the gremlins, or at least we've already talked about. Well, we only talked about Gremlins 2.
Yeah, we only talked about one of them.
We talked about Gremlins 2 as an episode, and then I brought up Critters 2 on our Thanksgiving special, but we didn't go through the whole movie or anything.
Right. So anyway, anything in that little tiny monsters type category, sans Gremlins, we've decided. So, future Steve, tell us what our topic is.
Cosmic horror.
Oh, thanks a lot, Steve. That was great. Thanks for sliding on in there and telling us what it is. We're really excited for
Cosmic horror. You're welcome, Brian.
All right. So that will be for our January Showdown, which will release that very first Monday of the new year, 2023, which is actually the second of January. So that's when you hear about that sumbitch. Now, let's go into this goddamn movie. We are talking about a little flicky that I actually mentioned at the top of the show here already. Just came out, maybe a couple 2-3 weeks ago, I want to say, right? Christmas, Bloody Christmas. Directed by
Joe
Begos, who a lot of us, I think, in the horror community are grown to really appreciate and look forward to some of these cool flicks that he throws out there. Most notably, the ones that came up, I would say, in recent, in the last few years here. I knew VFW I enjoyed a lot. And then what was the other one that just came out not terribly? Bliss, yeah, which was another Shudder exclusive, yeah. Both of which were fun. And I would say even of the three, this is probably my favorite. I would imagine you got a little bit more of a budget associated with this one. But let's just real quick run through a few of the cast here. Mostly relatively unknown folks. Stars Riley Dandy as Tori. She is, the protagonist in the movie. She's really by far the main character. Most other characters kind of come and go pretty quickly. But and then you have Robbie, played by Sam Delich. Again, those two.
I just wanted to stop for a second on Riley and like her other IMDb credits.
Okay.
Because I feel like you would appreciate this.
I didn't recognize any of them, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the titles alone. Is because she's done 3 other Christmas movies. Yes. Not horror, but
right.
She's done A Kiss on Candy Cane Lane.
Sick. These aren't Hallmark, are they?
They've got to be. They've got to be.
I mean, that one almost sounds like that one might have been like a Tubi, because Tubi's doing like original Christmas movies now too. So
yeah, they're popping up at other places because just a quick diversion. Lindsay Lohan just put one out. That's like Falling Down Winterland or whatever, some shit, and it's just a remake of Overboard, but instead of falling off a boat, she falls down a ski mountain, and it's Christmas time. It's the same fucking movie. Yeah.
I'm so into it though, because Overboard's one of my favorite films.
But back to Riley, her other 2 Christmas films, which just make me laugh because one is A Hollywood Christmas,
yeah,
and then the other is A California Christmas, City Lights. California Christmas, City Lights.
Yeah.
And apparently these 2 movies aren't related because she's playing 3 different characters across. She's playing Tiffany in one and then Ashley and Chloe in another. Yeah. So they're not related.
Why are these the most whitest fucking bitch names I've ever heard? I hate them all.
She's a white bitch. So
yeah,
she's a white bitch.
That reminds me so much of one of my favorite imaginary Christmas Hallmark Christmas movies, which is Big City Christmas 2 : or Small Town Christmas 2 : A Big City Christmas. But those ones sound borderline made up.
Yeah.
Is it on your list and you guys just like happen to have some crossover? That'd be really funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's ones that we've both came up with as a joke, and then we looked. We're like, no, that's a real one.
Oh my god!
Or is very close to a real one.
God.
Oh, who else? Okay, so probably the most recognizable people in here. Two folks. One, Mr. Jonah Ray, which folks will know from a lot of things. Not the least of which the most recent iterations of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And then Dora Madison, she plays a relatively small character as well, small role as well. They kind of go in and out. The other ones you'll definitely notice, Jeff Daniel Phillips, huge horror, probably one of the most recognizable people like working in horror right now. He's got a very recognizable look. He's got a huge handlebar mustache, which everyone likes. And he plays in, he's been in a lot of stuff, but most recently he played Herman Munster in Rob Zombie's The Munsters. And he's in 3 from Hell, and he's in a bunch of stuff. He's in just about every damn Rob Zombie flick, but also he's in Satanic Panic. Tons of stuff in the last handful of years. Always like seeing him. I mean, that's pretty much it. There's a few other supporting folks. Anyone else of note that I'm missing?
Well, I would say the guy playing Santa is of note.
Oh,
just at least for me, because the guy playing Santa is Abraham Ben Ruby, and like he's a guy that you'll notice he's been in shit since the 90s. I think he started as like the bully on Parker Lewis Can't Lose. And like
nice.
He was just a guy who's like big everywhere he goes. And so like as a younger big person, I was like, oh, look, a big guy. Like, that's representation for me. A big guy.
Hey, look, more galoot.
Yeah.
More galoot representation. He's been in a million things.
Yeah, he's a million things.
Obviously, you don't recognize his face in this. But if you saw his face, you would recognize him.
Yeah. And I think it's because he also was either in Bliss or VFW.
He was in Bliss.
Okay, yeah. So like,
he was in Bliss.
He'll pop. Begos will work with repeated people over and over.
He also was in the live action Charlotte's Web, did a voice in 2006, as you guys will remember from that.
I'm sure he's been on at least 3 Law and Orders.
Well, he was on ER. That was his other.
He was on ER for a long time. Yeah.
He was also on ER the game in 2005, the video game ER, which I'm just learning now is a thing, and I will be purchasing.
Are you joking?
After we get off the call. No. Not a joke.
Not a
I
joke.
just learned about it. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
Why are you excited? Are you gonna like try to? It's like Operation for like a PS.
Hopefully.
What I'm hoping is it's like a more serious version of Theme Hospital. I don't know if you guys ever played Theme Hospital. That was one of my favorite games ever growing up. I don't do this shit.
I haven't been into.
I don't do this shit.
No, and I'm not talking shit either. I have dated and I married someone who was like really into video games. I appreciate it. Me personally, I can't do it. I just don't have the attention span for it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, this game came out in like 95, so I played it when I was a kid. It came out on like the first PlayStation or something.
Maybe it was the same time frame. Crash Bandicoot was the only game I probably actually got into.
Can you go ahead and pronounce that one more time? I'd love to hear how you said that.
Bandicoot? Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Nope.
No, yes it is, Brian. Yes it is.
Bandicoot?
Bandicoot. Yes it is.
No, it's not. It's Crash Bandicoot.
Brian, just let it be.
What the fuck?
Just
Who is right? Am I wrong?
I am.
You're not right, Meg. And I just wanted it to be that way forever.
Why?
He just wanted you to walk around saying Crash Bandicoot.
I have said it literally for 20 plus years.
Great.
Yeah, sorry, I fucked up that long-standing joke, but that I'm sure everyone shares.
Crash Bandicoot, the Crash Team Racing. That was like what I was into. That was what I was into. All right, now great you guys. Again, no shame. I fucking fuck up.
Listen,
but thank you. Fuck you, Steve, for fucking not correcting me. Fuck you. Thank you, Brian, for correcting
I was making
me.
fun of you. I never know how Meg's going to respond to things because I was making fun of her and now I'm getting praised.
Right. Yeah.
And a second ago, I said something about I never know how she's going to react.
Yeah.
It's just, she's such a wild card. All right.
Wild card.
Fucking wild card. Woohoo.
One last actor I wanted to point out, though.
Dive out of a car.
She only appears for probably a minute and a half, maybe. But it's Kansas Bowling. And
why do I know that name?
And I'll tell you why. Because this is the second movie that we've done that she's appeared in. The first one being Veronica.
Oh no!
Yes, she was one of the victims of the Blood Witch at in the third segment of Veronica.
When he was drained, they were draining the blood and all that.
Yeah. You guys are talking like Glenn Danzig. Hey! I sent you guys a meme.
Yeah,
and it was Mariah Carey of Glenn Danzig, and now I have this dream to hear you guys like talk about Mariah Carey's lyrics in the tone of Glenn Danzig.
All I want for Christmas is the gabagoo.
The gabagoo.
That's all
I did see that.
Wanted. That's the best gift I got on my birthday.
I think Steve sent me that one because I had seen that before.
No, I didn't send that to. No, I bet we both saw it on that beer. Facebook because I've seen
everyone was Danziging for a long time on there. You're
still talking like a Danzig right there.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just a little. It's the holidays.
All right, let's dive into. Can we dive into this movie? I know I'm also distracting. Yes, I apologize.
No, that's all right. Listen. This is one of those movies. Again, we're talking about Christmas, Bloody Christmas from 2022. 100%. It's one of those movies that it doesn't let Too much plot getting in the way of a good story.
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't need us to talk it up plot point by plot point. We just have to talk about our favorite things.
I'm not gonna lie. I almost felt like, though, to a certain extent, that like the first 45 minutes were unnecessary.
There was some stuff that probably could have got cut. Let's read the IMDb synopsis, because it'll probably be a little bit more concise than me, because fucking dictionary is more concise than me. But so it's Christmas Eve and Tori just wants to get drunk and party, but when a robotic Santa Claus at a nearby toy store goes haywire and begins a rampant killing spree through her small town, she's forced into battle for survival. So you get that pretty much tells the whole damn thing. Yeah. There are a couple characters that like you get to know that really only one of them I would say you kind of feel for. But the whole thing is Tori owns this record store. First of all, I didn't look this up, but this movie feels tragically Canadian. Is this accurate?
I don't think that's accurate. Not at all.
Really? They seem so Canadian to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe some of the actors are, but no. Begos is very much American, and like this was filmed in California, so.
Was it? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. Just the way they talked and like, something about the way they talked just reminded me of we'll have to look up the actress, but they seemed very Canadian to me for whatever reason. But
did you just recently watch Santa's Sleigh? Maybe that's tainting your
no, not that Canadian, but it just felt like the way they were talking. So I'll say, and this I think speaks to Meg what you were saying too, is so you get these two characters, you get Tori and you get Robbie. Tori owns this like kind of punk metal undergroundish looking a record store, right? And Robbie is her longtime employee. It feels like there's a tremendous amount of like sexual tension between them.
He's over Tinder, which I fucking understand.
Yeah, so it's like it's this whole thing of like it starts out she's going to go hook up with some douchebag guy. Her friends, including Robbie, talk her out of it, and then there is that 45 minutes you talk about, which I think is like really right up until like shit really hits the fan. But they get to the action relatively quickly. I want to say it was like 20 minutes in when somebody like first bites the big one, but there is a lot of playful fighting banter between Tori and Robbie that go on. They give them a long leash with the improv, and it does get a little old. And at one point, Kate was like, I wish we counted how many times they said fuck, because it got to a comical level. Yeah. It felt like a Rob Zombie script. Like that at a point.
This movie's only been out. I mean, at time of recording, this movie hasn't been out for an entire weekend. And already the IMDb trivia says that it has 487 uses of fuck.
Yeah. So it's excessive to the point where you're like, why are these characters like, I don't know, so limited in their vocabulary?
Maybe I felt desensitized to it. It didn't bother me.
Yeah, I don't know. It at first it didn't, but then it just got to a point where they were like arguing about music a lot, and it's like their little way of like flirting with each other, like saying each of them are kind of, oh, you have terrible taste, and you have terrible taste, and they're arguing about music and albums and songs and shit like that, and they're just like screaming at each other and just. I don't know. It did become a lot at one point. It didn't completely detract me from the movie. And frankly, you did want to see, like, are they going to hook up? Are they going to fuck? You assume so, but you didn't know if old Robbie was going to get killed before it happened. Like, that was the big question, right?
This thought just kind of came to me, and figured I'm tossing it into the ether of sorts of like, I feel like that kind of almost brings up like tropes of like kind of campy type films that we watch, where it's like trying to like all the reasons where you're like, you're gonna die because you guys like had sex and yada yada yada, but it in this like more like current context of how films are made, it has like a more awkward vibe. Like I mean, it was fine, leading up to it. Like I only got really, really excited when like all the action happened, people really were like starting to get fucked up, but like leading up to it felt really awkward. But I can also see it through the lens of like, this is kind of campy a little bit, and I can appreciate it for the campiness of it to like set up the themes that we want to see happen in these type of films, where super slasher, like super just like people need to die and we need to figure out how they're gonna die and why they're gonna die. Type of situation.
Yeah. I think what you're seeing is kind of like just a twist on the way this would be set up. So like if you go back to the 80s and look at films like The Burning and everything, all the dudes in that film are sleaze.
Sure.
And you know, they just kind of get pussy as they demand pussy. So what you're seeing in this one is like the reverse of that, is that Tori is in control basically the entire time, because like she's Robbie's boss. She dictates like where they're going, you know, what time they're going, who's driving. She has control of the situation the entire time, and then she's the only one who gets the burst nerds.
Yeah. I know. I did appreciate that, because I was almost like, wait. Okay. I don't want to go.
Yeah, he didn't burst nerds.
Like that.
Robbie don't burst.
Well, they
nerds.
were gonna. So the whole idea was like he
maybe, but like at the same time, the primary, fucking he made sure she got off. Like, wow, this is progressive as fuck.
Well, I think the whole thing was like they were talking about like how guys don't know how to go down on girls, and he was making comments about how he, performs oral sex with the power of a Tyrannosaurus or something like that earlier in the movie. So
I will always eye roll under that. Like,
so his whole thing was like, all right, listen, we're gonna munch it up here. It was, and then it was like she was like, okay, I need to go turn the music back on, get the nachos, do another shot, and then I'll be back. Well, unfortunately, good old Rob never even got to get his dick out. So you know what? Good. You know what? Good. Fuck him.
Megan in my single steak. Fucking good.
No,
but I also I don't want to like breeze over what Steve talked about. I think that's like a really powerful thing, like where it could be like we should actually celebrate the fact that they like that is a point. Like that was a decision they made to like the power dynamic being switched in this situation. But I think it's cool. It's a plus for me in my mind in this movie.
Yeah, and the thing I like too is like, and this is spoiling the end of the movie, but she never gets saved by anybody.
No, like
she saves herself ultimately. Like I said, spoiler alert here. She does survive, assumingly. It kind of ends a little bit abruptly, but like there's never so the cops show up and save her. The cops are always just creating more problems, really. Some dude never shows up and saves her. You know, she just kind of survives through like perseverance kind of thing, which, you're seeing a little bit more of. And what I like about it, especially from just like a structural perspective too, is it makes things seem less predictable. Because when you see if this movie was made in 1988, you could pretty much guess what was going to happen. This, you didn't necessarily know.
Yeah.
I mean, and they also killed a kid earlier, so that means it could go in a lot of different directions.
There's a lot of ways it could have gone.
We didn't see it though. Like I don't.
You see like a vague one shot.
You saw like an axe go into his neck, or something.
But yeah, I mean, obviously the big, kind of the big parallels that you get in comparison is this film and Terminator. And there's so much Terminator, especially at the end.
At the end, it's like straight up T2. Shit.
Yeah. Well, no, T1.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, it's really T1. It's
yeah, probably more so.
So, but yeah, like, and again, it's the same thing of like Sarah Connor wasn't saved by Kyle Reese. At the end, she saved herself. So, yeah, you get a lot of the similarities in that, but. I want to say that this movie is a very Merry Yeetmas to us because there is so much.
Point. Oh my
there's
God.
so much yeeting in this film.
So many
t-shirt. I felt the same way because of the way that everyone just got. Yeah,
everyone's constantly being yeeted or yeeting somebody.
I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of them yeets. I did want to mention the soundtrack was cool.
I did like it too.
Yeah, cool soundtrack. At some point, it started to get really like that doom metal drone thing that you get a ton in like Mandy, which I felt was like maybe a little like you used it a little too much. But like at the beginning, I thought there was some cool songs and stuff.
It didn't bother me.
It didn't.
It even made me like be a little bit of a nerd because there's the scene in the bar where they turn on a song and I was like, oh shit, Joe Begos is an ISIS supporter because there's a band ISIS and they haven't played in a long time, partially because of the name. Like they were ISIS before ISIS, but then ISIS came in. But I was like, oh shit, ISIS, that's like a fucking 10-year-old, if not more song. I was like, hell yeah, ISIS. And then, but then so like all that doom metal and everything, I'm into it. So it didn't bother me. I just like hearing something, different for a change.
Yeah. I was like where some, I don't know, you guys can totally correct me too, where, I mean, it made me happy where situations like this, where we're actually getting bands being brought into movies to like create soundtracks and like have songs on it versus like having necessarily someone who just creates soundtracks for movies, which I again, either fine, but I do have an appreciation for bringing bands in. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I think you can get a good mix because like there's a lot of great composers out there, especially right now. And like one of my favorites is Colin Stetson, who like we
talked about him, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure we have.
Yeah,
because I love him, so I'm sure I have. But so like Colin Stetson, I mean, even what's it? Trent Reznor. Why can't I think of that? Like Trent Reznor's been doing a lot of composing lately, so you get like a lot of good composers. But also, I appreciate anytime somebody goes out of their way to get songs and music that isn't in the norm. Because like I think a couple weeks ago or so, I watched that Black Adam film.
Yeah.
And it's just so based on like every poppy song you can ever think of.
Oh yeah, it's like, that whole Scorsese thing where there has to be a Scorsese moment where you get a song that everyone recognizes and like balls all this, and it's not just, I don't know who started it, but I think about Scorsese doing it, but then also all the Marvel movies do it. You know what I mean? Freaking every Guardians of the Galaxy thing has to have some classic rock riff in it, and but yeah, I like to discover, like because I watch so many movies, I oftentimes rely on movies and TV shows to introduce me to new music too. So I like when something pops up that I can go like, oh, what's that song? And then I end up on some fucking Reddit thread trying to figure out what the name of some song is, like, or a podcast. I just found a band that I fucking love from a podcast. Like they've just used a couple of their songs in their intros throughout the seasons, and it took forever to find them. There's some tiny little oh my god, no, I have to look it up. Hold on.
While Brian looks it up, I'll bring up another movie I watched though that is good for this. It's called Death to Metal. I think I maybe brought it up a couple episodes ago, but like it's a band that uses it's about like a priest who comes back to life and decides to kill a bunch of death metal bands because they're bad for they're bad for the world, but like they use actual death metal bands in the movie, and so like you can look up their work and actually get into them. Cool. But yeah, so check out Death to Metal. The other thing I like though, to go along this avenue of like everything is kind of doom metal and like sludgy because everything like all the colors in the film are, these bright neon against harsh blacks. And then every dude looks like Joe Begos, and that they have like, and like Joe Begos is in the film, but like they all have the long, hair that they look like they play in fucking
Scorpions.
No.
Fuck off. No, he's like, I'm just waiting for him to tell me what band it reminds me of.
I'm trying to find it, and it's driving me insane that I can't find it right now.
Yeah, everyone was like,
I'll think about it
though for a while there. Like, I was like, why is everyone who's hot dies? You know what I mean? Your girl was horny for it, guys. What I'm saying.
What you're saying is you're into everybody who's in the Electric Wizard. That's what I was trying. That's the band I was trying to remember.
Yes. Actually,
every dude in this movie looks like they're in Electric Wizard.
And guys, we do pretty early in this movie, we do get a good old ass eating scene, which you just don't see in Christmas movies that often.
Yeah, I would have never expected the Mystery Science Theater guy to just bury his face in some ass. But
do you think that was him? Do you think that was him? Because it was kind of from a distance, you couldn't tell if it was a stunt eater.
Would he really
stunt tongue?
Yeah, I don't think he would call in for stunt tongue.
You don't think so?
No.
Wait, how do you think sign up for that job? Can I get paid
to be that stunt?
Can I be
to be that stunt tongue?
Can I
probably just go in whenever they see somebody
eat. I don't have
eat
a great tongue. I don't know.
Well,
I don't have great hands. I can't be a hand model. I'm trying to think of the side hustles, guys. Come on, let's go.
I have some gorgeous feet. So I oftentimes, no, I'm just kidding. My feet are disgusting.
We know this from the last episode where you said you never gave him a foot bath. We know your feet are gross.
True. Yeah. Maybe if you gave him a foot bath, then you would be able to handle this.
No, dude. There's just I could take like a knife, a paring knife, and cut off a chunk of my heel. It would just look like, those videos where people cut soap,
Yeah.
There's like ASMR video. Anyway, we do get a cool, I did like the kind of Robo Santa POV kills because he has these like glow. The best thing about Robo Santa, especially once he starts to get kind of fucked up later in the scene or later in the movie, is he has these like glowing green eyes. And then also once part of his face gets fucked up, you get this like exposed, exoskeleton type of thing that glows green. And the whole thing is shot like a relatively cheap independent movie, but there are some, like the explosions and whatnot were very CGI, obviously, but like done fairly well. Some of the fire and the explosions were CGI. I think
it didn't look that way to me.
Really?
Yeah.
The one where he comes and rams the car outside the station with the ambulance. Maybe
that one was sweetened a little bit. But
I'm pretty sure it was. You would know better than me, but I'm pretty sure that one had some. It wasn't all, but it definitely seemed like it was tuned up with some CGI.
Yeah, maybe it was tuned up a little bit, but they still did like full on practical explosions. They
did do some cool explosions,
and there's also just like a whole lot of pyrotechnics in general. With all the like whizzing fucking sparklers coming off the robot. There's like it's so fucking great.
Yeah, the robot itself is cool. Even at the end when it's like a 3/4 like dummy, it still looks pretty cool. It looks like kind of janky, but it also makes it a little bit scarier, like it's gone completely fucking haywire a little bit.
Yeah. It almost looks like something like the guys that like who did Psycho Goreman and The Void.
I can see that a little bit.
It looks like their earlier work, like BioCop level.
Yeah, where it's like less suits, more dummies kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you get some cool POV kills there. Probably my favorite scene is after Santa comes in and starts rampaging around the neighborhood. They see him kill the kid next door through the window, and he sees them. So all of a sudden they're like, fuck, he's coming. And so he comes over and they're kind of hiring. Robbie's not coming. But they come out. No one's coming. Not even Tori? It seems like she might have been.
Tori came. I mean,
yeah. I feel like she
might have got bored at one point.
Yeah. But anyway, he does the old all right, we got to rally troops, like he's coming over to kill us. They get like her sister and brother-in-law that are staying with her out of bed, and they're all like hunkered down, and then he jumps, he throws a corpse through the window at Robbie.
Yeet number one.
Yeah, he eats him. And then the other kind of fun thing about this scene was the sister gets a good old head twist. That kicks things off. And then I think the brother-in-law gets killed off screen. But when they're trying to escape and start up Robbie's shitty car to escape, there's a pretty cool, escape scene. There's tension in the car, and then the cop shows up. This robot and shotguns him. Of course, he's not dead, but this robot is pronounced dead 70 times in this movie.
It's the best part of how many times this robot technically gets killed.
Because you kept going like, no. Like, that's going to be, okay, I get it. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but towards the end of the movie, you're like, all right, I know he's not dead now. Now he's dead. Oh, wait, no. Okay, now he's dead. Really? No, he's not? Okay. It's like 5 times right at the end.
Yeah.
Where they kind of try to play off that he's dead. It got to be kind of comical.
I do have a problem with it, and we'll talk about it when we get there, but it's like, it's my only thing. It's one of 2 sticking points I have with the film that like, it just bug me and they irk me. The one I'll go back to though is when Lana and I'm just going to call him Jonah Ray because I forget his character's name.
Yeah, whatever.
When they're in the toy store, which is a great name, TW Bonkers. That's a great name. But
but when that place is awesome. Yeah. By the way, I want to just hang out in that store, especially the way it was lit. Yeah. You know, it's just cool.
Yeah. But when they're in that store, they're talking about like the one way Robbie isn't going to fuck tonight is if he gets his dick chopped off. And then he doesn't get his dick chopped off.
Never gets his dick chopped off.
That was such a check off.
He should have gotten his dick chopped off.
I know. I really thought he was. And I had just watched that Don't Open Till Christmas movie, and someone gets their dick chopped off in that movie. So I was like, oh man, is this going to be another dick chop off? No.
It's such a Chekhov's gun line.
I know.
Of like if he doesn't get his dick chopped off. But I mean, he does get an axe right through the face. Which is
it was a cool effect.
Can we just say like too, like even just like all these axe effects, like of like when the people are getting split in half. Like these
there's a lot of like, heads getting caved
there's
in.
There's no
and,
like differential. Like there's a lot of just split in halves.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I appreciate like when the robot swings the axe. It's not like the axe gets stuck in anything. It goes through all the time.
Yes. Yeah. Was
it the only time when I'm trying to think who it was, where the guy that got like the axe to the back?
That was the neighbor's house when of the kid who gets axed. When he goes in there before he even comes over to Tori's house, he goes over, throws the axe into the guy's back, and it like sticks in his back. He does like straight up axe throwing style, like the thing that like white people go and do on the weekends, that, like places that have laser tag. But it was overall like the practical effects, the kills were really cool. Like I said, there was some tension. I had a couple things. I'll wait till the end, Steve, when you talk about a couple of the things that bothered you, because there was a couple that were for me, but they were probably more just straight personal. But there was a good I liked this is while Robbie is going down on Tori, and it's getting pretty aggressive, although you never see boobs. Piss me off. And he just does the old thing where he pulls the underwear to the side. Yeah. Come on. Yep.
It was cheap.
Get him off.
This sounds like a money thing. This is a money thing.
Yeah. Get him off.
Yeah, she wasn't looking to like this movie's too small for me to lose the panties. I'll show my butt.
Money thing because I felt the same. I
get it.
Hey Brian, I was with you. Felt the same way.
Yeah, but while that's happening, so Robbie's munch, and simultaneously they are cutting back and forth between Santa killing the family next door, and when he basically curb stomps the father on the stairs, and all this juice just gushes out of his head, and then they cut back over to Tori coming, and it's a definite like visual double entendre.
Yeah.
Of just, but it's a head squirting,
and everybody's penis doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, it was confusing for me. But yeah, I appreciate like this is kind of a nasty movie in that way. Like, between that, like a kid gets axed. Like overall, it's a pretty nasty movie.
All the way people get yeeted.
So many. Yeah, so, obviously they don't know it's a robot for a long time, and they just think it's like a murder. So, a cop comes, cop gets killed. Pretty cool scene, honestly. And then one of my favorite things, Tori has a real habit of stealing public vehicles. She flies off in a cop car with no windshield, driving down the highway at one point. I want to just be like, keep driving. Just keep driving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she couldn't. She got stopped by the other cops in the emergency vehicle.
That's true.
The ambulance.
They were blocking off the road.
Yeah, I would just be like, get the and she did. At that point, she thought that the cops were going to help her, and of course they didn't. It might have been
one of my so I felt like Tori almost okay. I'm actually taking it back. I feel like everyone was a little bit more exaggerated in their acting. I mean, overall, it didn't bother me too bad, but like there was a lot of exaggeration. So then, even when the scene what we're talking about where Tori gets stopped, I was like, are you guys really trying to perpetuate stereotypes here, or are we just like, what point are you trying to make by the situation? Because at the same time, you could have just been like, this guy just either sucks at acting, this is a dramatization of the situation, or like you're going for some other theme that I didn't totally understand.
Are you talking about like when the cops were like freaking out and like, you're gonna listen to me and all that stuff? Yeah. That's how. What's the guy's name? We already said his name. Played Herman Munster.
Jeff Daniels Phillips, but.
Yeah. He kind of, that's just kind of how he always acts. Like he just goes hard on a lot of stuff. Yeah. Like, and
but
I feel
mean,
like
he was more subdued. I think Meg's more talking about the guy who plays like his deputy, who also, I mean, every guy looks the same in this movie because they all look like they play in doom metal bands. But
yeah. But I mean, it was a complete exaggeration, but everyone else kind of had variations of exaggerations that I kind of felt. You know, you're like, you're trying a little bit hard in your acting.
Well, that's what I said. It was almost a Rob Zombie-ish type of thing where they were all really, really acting their balls off.
Yeah.
This is why I just saw my note that reminded me why when I became convinced how Canadian this movie was when Robo Santa is pulling Robbie from the car and she keeps yelling at him to fuck off. Oh. She's like kicking him. She's like, fuck off. It's like, that's the Canadian thing to yell at somebody who's trying to murder you. Fuck off, Goose. Yeah.
I'll say, like, so once she gets arrested by like this really shitty cop who's annoying and taken to the police station where it's just basically her shitty cop and Jeff Daniels cop. And the one thing that made me laugh like really hard was the shitty cop is yelling at her. And he's like, you need to calm down. We got this fucking shit going on. And my friend and the cop who had just been killed. And he's like, I forget that cop's name as well, but Davies. Yeah. And it's like, and Davies just got fucking killed. And I gotta fucking tell his wife, oh, fuck, Debbie. We gotta tell Debbie. Just the quick realization that like
he's gonna go fuck Debbie. He's gonna try to fuck her. Yeah, my husband died, but do you want this dick?
This old stinky dick. I thought it was funny that they were all, there's a massive murder scene with like multiple victims in this small town, and the sheriff is like, I'm going to go make a pot of coffee and then we're going to figure this out. Like there just didn't seem to be as like much of a sense of urgency. I would assume in a small town, if there was a multiple homicide, like murder scene, I imagine he'd be on the scene, not like hanging out, having discussions with the one random survivor back at the station, making coffee. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, they made mention of how they called in the other
the
county,
the other whatever,
the county cops are on the case, so he can just let it be. The ambulance ram in the station, I thought that was a pretty cool scene where he's like, he's not stopping, kind of thing, and obviously they didn't ram it through a building, but they made it look like all the windows broke and like everything was shot pretty smartly. I think overall, the thing that made this movie is the lighting, I think, in a lot of ways. It was
very exaggerated. I definitely
super saturated, like all the lights, the Christmas light everywhere you look, there's Christmas lights in the background that are like all like, what do they call it when it's like where like the lights kind of all like blown out.
Almost made like even just like the intense scenes with like the murderous type thing, like when Santa's attacking, like almost everything almost seemed worse or like worse than it was. And I think it worked especially with like the scenes where Santa's like fucking killing shit, and just because of how strong it was, it felt so like poignant when you're like, that's why I like the lighting a lot, honestly.
Yeah, every scene felt like you were like in a club or something like that. You know what I mean?
Like everything felt intense, maybe is the word I'm looking for.
It was really dark, but then like super like saturated close-ups of all the lights that like, you know, were constantly kind of glowing on everything. Like when they were in the toy store, it felt like you were in like a Christmas themed haunted house or something like that.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. It's just a cool,
but
even when they're in the bar
that you hated recently, that it kind of reminded me of that. You hated recently, but it was specifically as the lighting that we watched.
Oh no, it was the exact opposite reason that I hated it. I didn't like Terrifier 2 because the way that
it was more muted.
Everything was muted and like desaturated, but it also had that awful rose gold and teal all over it. Yeah. Whereas like this film goes through every fucking color in the palette. Sure. But what I was saying originally about Terrifier is the original Terrifier is sort of like this film, not to the extreme that it is, but like the original Terrifier has like these really harsh blacks and it contrasted with these colorful lights that don't have a necessary origin. So like this is something I noticed in this film is like in that scene in the police station after the Santa comes in the police station, there's this huge bright yellow light that's coming into the police station and you can assume that's from the fire.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then there's this really harsh red light and nobody knows where that's coming from. But it's the opposing light, and like you can you just have to guess that it's like an emergency lighting system or something that's in there.
Yeah.
They don't ever call it out, but like that happens a lot where like there's just lights that you can just assume it's coming from something because you've been so treated earlier to like the way the record store is lit and everything's crazy in there, everything's crazy in the toy store, even the street is just lined with colorful lights. So
yeah, it's just like almost black light kind of glow to everything.
Yeah, they don't have to explain every lighting source.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I think one thing that this was one of the things that became really evident at this point, especially when like an emergency vehicle wrecks into and explodes a police station. Why is this town like deserted? I mean, not just like, oh, it's late on Christmas Eve and everyone's at home. It feels deserted. The whole town doesn't, which almost lends this like isolation, which I think is necessary for this movie to work. Yeah. But if you think too hard about it, it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah. I mean, we do already see the bar close up. So like if the only bar downtown is closed, then you can assume people are elsewhere.
Yeah. Or it's like a podunk little town. Right. I get it. But it's like, you just feel like there would be at least a couple people out and about. Yeah. And you don't see anyone ever. Yeah. Except for the characters.
And like that's kind of the one thing I kind of don't love is so after the two cops get it at the police station, which by the way, another great yeet of Jeff Daniels Phillips coming over the top of the ambulance. That's an amazing yeet.
Yeah, he gets yeeted over the top.
But after that, it's just Tori. And so like it's Tori for the rest of the film, and it's like 20 minutes of just her. And like I like that, but at the same time, like you're saying, like the town is completely deserted. There's nobody else around. And to jump back to a point that you made earlier about how like no guy comes and saves her, I think it would have been kind of fun if somebody did show up to save her, but also just gets, destroyed immediately. Like,
right. Yeah. It just felt like I don't know. I hesitate to say more characters because I do like when there's like that. I do like that there was this kind of sense of isolation, but it did feel like maybe, Jonah Ray should pop back up and he's half dead, but now he's got a shotgun, but then he gets his head chopped off or something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Just something like that. The other thing is, and I guess we're pretty close to the end of the film is, we were talking about it earlier, but like, this robot gets killed 5 or 6 times.
Well, let's count them up. I'm trying to do it in my head right now. So there's the first one where you think he got shotgunned.
Yeah.
Well, he does get shotgunned.
He gets
by
shotgunned.
The cop. Then does he get shotgunned? No, let's just say he gets shotgunned.
No, he gets shotgunned a second time because he crawls on top of the the hood of the police car,
and
he gets shotgunned through there.
Yeah,
so he's down
twice
again.
He gets shotgunned. Then he gets smashed with the cop car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's 3.
Yep.
Then
tasered.
Then even before he gets tasered, she ejects him through the windshield of the.
No. She tasers him first.
He gets ejected out of the ambulance.
Yeah.
No, she tasers him.
Taser.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, she tasers him
Yeah,
in the police station.
Oh, you're right. That was in the police station.
I'm pissed that she dropped the taser. What a bitch for dropping the taser. You clearly see that this is
yeah, you see it works.
Making him incapable of doing anything. You don't. I mean, at that point, do we? Okay, you guys might be able to correct me. We don't know at that point that he's like full on robot. We just know he's unstoppable.
No, she knows.
Yeah, she knows because they heard about the recall on the news, and then but anyway, the taser happens in the police station. You're right. So that's what
bitches
number 4.
Let's PSA: bitches carry tasers. I'm gonna buy a taser because of this film.
Smart.
Yeah, tasers are great.
Yeah.
Tasers are great. And then when you get drunk, you tase each other. It's a blast.
Great party fun.
Because of all the Tinder dates that could be out there, like primarily actually because of that. But anywho, evil Santas aside,
I've been tased on multiple occasions. It hurts like a motherfucker.
Are you fucking kidding me? Is this not a joke?
No, I've been tased.
Why?
We used to tase each other all the time.
Why?
Because my cousin had a taser. So we're drunk in college. We're going to tase each other.
Mate, have you never watched a Jackass movie?
Dumb manner, and I don't. I'm not here for it. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get like a stun. I didn't get like the stun gun where it like shoots barbs into you.
You definitely have some backcountry vibes, bud. Like.
Yeah, I've been tased. I one time was tased. Like we would tase each other like in the shoulder, and it hurts real bad. But then one time I got tased in the neck, and that just drops you.
Oh man. I thought you were going to say you got tased in the balls, and that would be worse. Like,
no.
You're like, no,
Meg,
stay away from the balls.
Meg, you're talking to somebody who's in their 30s and grew up on Jackass. Of course his friends had tasers.
Of course we tased each other multiple times.
That's why I'm also saying that. Like, I grew up... Okay, guys, we're close in age.
I've been hit with buckshot. Like, I've had all types of bad stuff happen to me.
I would suspect that his balls would have been hit. Like that. We all grew up in the same era.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do it I'm not trying to get tased in the balls. I would get tased in the shoulder, and we would tase each other, and it was like you were playing like chicken, but you were tasing each other.
Mm-hmm.
So in any case, listen. So that was 4. Then 5 is he gets yeeted out of the ambulance.
Yeah,
right?
Out the ambulance.
Then 6, she sets him on fire.
Blows the car up. Yeah.
Blows the car up, and then 7, she mushes him with the other car, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess...
Or is that all kind of one treatment?
I would say the explosion and car mush are the same.
I guess so, yeah. So 6, she pins him under the car with the ambulance. Then she kind of torches the whole thing. Then she just goes back to her store and is like, I'm going to go do a J. Because like this is stressful,
right?
So she goes back to her shop, and it's just like I'm gonna smoke a blunt real quick, and then he shows up. So now Santa has laser eyes, and he's all fucked up, and this is when he's like all Terminatored out, right? And it was pretty. Like I said, pretty awesome kind of half puppet situation and 2-3/4 puppet. This is where she runs him through with goddamn Conan the Barbarian sword.
Yes.
Which I thought was okay. Now he's definitely done.
Right. And I thought the same thing, and I thought it was awesome. And this is where because he doesn't die from this is where I got kind of upset, because one of the greatest parts of the original Terminator is when the Terminator is crawling after Sarah Connor, and she lures it into the trap, and she says, "You're terminated, fucker." Right. And she gives it the great one-liner.
Yeah.
She doesn't have Tori doesn't have a great one-liner in all of these sequences.
I know, she keeps just doing these like primal screams
and saying fuck. And that's where
yelling fuck.
Yeah. And that's where
no. Fuck. Yeah.
And the fact that
you want her to be like, it's the end of the line.
Or Christmas is canceled.
Or what? Christmas is canceled. Here's my war on Christmas.
Exactly.
Something.
Looks like I won the war on Christmas, fucker. And then stabs him with the sword. And then because it comes back and punishes her. Yeah. Like that's how you elevate.
She's pretty unscathed at this point. Like, she's been a little fucked up. She's covered in blood. You don't know if it's hers or somebody else's. But after Barbarian sword stab, guess what? Still not dead. Then she hits the sprinklers on his ass. And then all his robot, because all his robot guts are exposed. So now he's getting all electrocuted, because of how electronics and water don't mix. We know that from science. But it seems to work, but not before he shoves her off. She breaks her ankle. So then there's a crawling scenario. Then she gets her, is it just her fingers or pretty much her whole hand chopped off?
It's a lot of her hand,
Yeah, a whole big chunk of her hand. And so he's getting all electrocuted. So now we're at 8?
Yeah.
7 or 8. But JK not dead. Now they do a crawling chase and through the record store. And then, so this is what, sis, this might ease your mind a little bit here, Steve. She tried fire.
Right.
She tried water. Tried electricity. Electricity works. Turns out he's a water type Pokemon.
And she knew that already because she hit him with the taser, and the taser is just a little bit less than wall. You know? So that she eventually pulls out the cords from the wall, electrocutes him to death. He's not a flying type Pokemon. We know this. They are also susceptible to electricity.
Wait, is this a Pokemon podcast now?
Yes.
This is oh my God, I feel so dumb. We did not tell you this is a Pokemon podcast. But no, so eventually,
twice, and third time I would have been okay, I have to buy in or I have to leave.
Welcome to Pokemon's is forever.
Pokemans is forever. Come get your Pokemans. But so she escapes, I guess. But then there's this little snapshot of her just laying on the street, maybe laughing. I don't know.
It ends almost exactly like the House of the Devil, right? Because doesn't the House of the Devil just end with that that
kind of snapshot type of thing? It felt like a little bit of this Texas Chainsaw type of snapshot thing at the end. I don't know.
There's a lot of films from the 70s and 80s who they didn't know how to end a movie, so they just did the freeze frame.
Or even Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
they kind of do that too. Yeah. But anyway, so my overall take on this movie. Too much yelling.
Everybody's yelling.
No, I'm just kidding.
Everybody's so
was
loud.
An exhausting amount of yelling. It was a very stylish, very fun movie. I liked it a lot. They gave what's her name, the Tori who played Tori. We talked about at the top of the show. The Tori,
Riley Dandy.
Boy, they gave her a lot to do.
Yeah.
They really put a lot on her performance, and she did good.
Right.
But it was, they put a lot on her performance.
Yeah. I agree with Meg. All the arguing and because there's never feels like a downtime or a time where they can at least agree with each other on something.
There's never a quiet moment where they're sitting there smoking and then they're everything's just so aggressive, screaming at each other the whole time.
The only time they get a quiet moment is when Jeff Daniels Phillips comes in and fucking just brings the mood down with his with his
bums everyone out.
With his sad sap story, which is funny.
The fucking dog, how he hates his wife's dog and all this stuff. And that's why I'm spending Christmas alone and ripping shots and
makes me horny at that point.
Christmas Eve, alone, drunk. Fu Manchus, all this above things
get turned on.
Well, you know what?
Shoulder length hair
makes me hornier than sadness. But there's got to be a word for sad horniness. What's that? There's probably some
Elliot
sort
Smith,
of word that I don't know.
It.
Yeah, Elliot Smith, sad horniness. That was one of his album names, I think. Actually, sad but horny.
Joy Division. That's what it is.
Ooh,
there you go. Even better. Yeah. For whatever here, this is my personal kind of connection. Why I really like this movie and why I will definitely watch this again is some of my most when you think about your Christmas memories, your nostalgic things you think of a lot of times from when you're a kid and stuff like that. Some of my most memorable like fun Christmas memories are when I was in like high school and college, just getting like fucked up with your friends, you know, sitting in a basement, getting drunk and acting a fool, you know, or going, you know, at a party or whatever. And it always revolves around that moment of like sitting there, like in that euphoric drunkenness and seeing Christmas lights in the dark, and that just kind of drunk glow kind of thing, periphery of the situation. And that's what this whole movie felt like to me.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I kind of just want to like live in this environment, but I just like, if you guys could stop yelling for a second, I would appreciate it. And I would just be like, I want to kind of just be in this mellow, drunken, hazy glow.
I feel like if I was reflecting properly, that this movie would also pair well with shrooms. But I mean, you know me.
All the colors.
Yeah. Because of the colors.
Will, just probably say most films pair well with shrooms.
I was going to say, I haven't heard a movie yet that you were like, this one doesn't go with shrooms. Meg's movie and drug pairings.
Actually, so my new rating scale for movies will be like, how well does it pair with shrooms? How many caps?
Yeah.
1 to 5.
Yeah. 1 to 5.
1 to 5 caps. We'll give this one a good 4 out of 5 caps. Would be great.
It sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Fair enough. I mean, there's no horses in this film, but like you can get 4 out of 5 caps, 10 out of 10 yeets. Good stuff there. Yeah. I'll completely agree with you, Brian, in that like there's something about just the way everything looks and the way everything is kind of sad as well. That just reminds me of a couple Christmases in the Beaver County area of like,
for sure.
One, I know there was one like in college time where I came home from Penn State, and like I had a friend who went to Geneva. And so during our home time, we went to the Crazy Horse.
Fuck yeah.
And like,
there's nothing more depressing and melancholy than a strip club Christmas.
And it was strippers in Santa hats and elf hats. Yeah. It's everything is bathed in black light. Everything is gross. The carpet on the floor reflected back up at you. And like it was strippers in Santa hats and elf hats. It was disgusting. And the other one is the Monaca Draft House. And that's all. That one just reminds me because a buddy I used to work with, we used to just go there and play like Sleep. And for like... They have an album that's also just one song and it's an hour long and it's fucking stoner metal. Yeah, it's Dope Smoker. Yeah, exactly. We would just play Dope Smoker and play darts at Monaca Draft House, and it's the same thing as that bar.
Dope Smoker and darts. I like it.
Yeah, I remember a lot of evenings, you know, at 4 a.m, being, you know, plastered, having cleaned up and closed out and everything at the bar, and the Christmas lights are on and all the other lights are off, and you're just like sitting at the bar with like the last few coworkers just kind of hammered, just like, all right, we're all super tired and drunk. And yeah, it's just that kind of like melancholy Christmas drunken glow, you know? Yeah, I like it. Listen, as Christmas comes closer, I like it to be sadder and sadder in a way. You know what I mean?
You like sad Christmas at night. Like
it's sad Christmas at night.
It's fun to have like nice Christmas during the day where you have like candy canes and fucking peppermint coffee and everything. No. But at night it's gotta be gross sad Christmas.
No. Yeah, it's gotta be sad Christmas. It's gotta be like
all the time.
Yeah, it's got to be like Christmas murder ballads, and
guys,
you know,
you guys got me only slightly over the edge with this Trogs holiday pack. Okay, so don't come talking about this like daytime, nighttime, sad, like, you know, Christmas vibe. It is all nighttime vibe.
all sadness.
Forever Night, Meg's Christmas album, Forever Night.
I mean, once Meg gets her Mad Elf in her, maybe she can appreciate like a daytime snowfall, but
yeah.
No, okay. Sidebar. I have 2 sidebars clearly already. It didn't snow today. It did not snow on my birthday. Sad face.
It didn't.
Okay. All right. So that was out of that conversation out of the way.
Oh yeah, and Meg's birthday adds another layer of introspection into the whole thing. My God, this is getting dark, guys.
Yeah, I get real depressed when it doesn't snow. I'm from Western New York, y'all.
Meg just cracked another beer and it's bleach.
The effervescence is beautiful.
You guys heard about Tide Brewing?
Yeah. Eating Tide Pods on Christmas. You open it up. Imagine now opening up like a box of like Roslyn chocolates, assorted chocolates, but they're all just Tide Pods.
I got that Whitman sampler bleach. It's fabric softener.
I don't know why it came up on my social media feed, but someone did this whole like, I'm going to take Brussels sprouts and make them look like Ferrero Rochers.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty solid.
Yeah,
man, that would be such a good burn.
I love a Brussels sprout, but I'll stick a knife in you if you hand me one covered in chocolate.
So much work that I feel like would legit just like be so worth it. You know what I mean?
Little chocolate cabbages is not my thing.
No, that's a good band name, though.
Oh yeah,
Little chocolate
All
cabbages.
All right, guys, Little Chocolate Cabbages.
Definitely stoner metal. Definitely could be on the soundtrack to this film.
Yeah. Or it's like a Limp Bizkit. It's a Limp Bizkit cover band. Little Chocolate Cabbages.
Oh my god.
And the hot dog flavored water. All right, guys. Listen. Go check out on the Shudder. It's a Shudder exclusive, but it's also in theaters, I think, too. So go check out. This will be a fun theater film because it's like a big sound, a lot of the, like I said, the drone metal. It's very striking visuals. I think this would be a really fun theater flick. So I would suggest go see it in theaters if you haven't already. But you know what? If you can't get out to the old theaters, if you're sick like me, I watched it on the Shudder and it was still a lot of fun. So Christmas, Bloody Christmas, Joe Begos, 2022. Definitely check it out. Do we know what we're doing next week?
No.
It'll be a little surprise for you here for it would be Boxing Day, right? It'll be a fun little Boxing Day surprise for you.
Actually,
I don't know if that's correct.
I already fucking know what's gonna happen.
Oh,
what's gonna happen?
I'm gonna fucking fight you. It's gonna be legit. It's gonna be a legit fucking fight. You said it's coming out of
About
Boxing
what?
because it's be coming out on the 26th. We're literally gonna fucking punch each other in the face. Actually,
let's just do that. I got seriously so much reach on you. I'll knock you the fuck out. I have like a 12-inch reach advantage. The little T-Rex arms.
Yeah, Meg, you have to come in like Tyson and just have.
You got to come in bobbing and weaving. That's your only chance.
You got to get to the body and work his body down.
You know my cardio's bad.
I'm already training.
Listen, I'll gas out in 30 seconds. So if you can if you can rope-a-dope me, you'll knock me out. But if I can keep my distance with the jab, you're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
Too short. Everybody buy tickets to watch two smokers fight.
Beat the shit out of each other. Yeah, I'll gas out and barf 5 seconds in. All right, guys.
I have one final note on this movie.
One
final note on this movie, and it makes me excited because it's just a tiny little thing, but it goes all the way back to the start of the film where he does like these kind of little fake commercials and everything to set everything up. And they're doing the commercial.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
But they're doing the commercial for the Robo Santa. And I think he quietly puts in a nod at what a sequel could be because he says the Robo Santa will be at TW Bonkers, which is the one we see.
Right.
But it's also at the Midland Mall.
He does. And so I actually, that's great point because I got really excited because, I love a fake commercial. But at the beginning, the Midland Mall, I was like, oh, happens in a mall? This is awesome because I'm a sucker for anything that happens in a mall.
Right.
Why?
And I don't know. I love malls as a setting for movies. I love malls in general. I like going to malls. I like movies set in malls. Chopping malls, one of my favorite flicks.
I'm not like offended by the fact that you like anything about malls. I'm just like this is new information, Brian. I need to process this.
You didn't know my thing with malls? Yeah. I love a mall.
No, I didn't
love
know
a mall.
About this about
Unfortunately, most malls, the mall I grew up with, which is the Beaver Valley Mall, is very depressing.
I'm going to call you Robin Sparkles from now on. Like, really? That's really
there's nothing in that mall, unfortunately.
It's so sad, which makes it better to go to.
I know. Talk about a melancholy Christmas mall.
Hell yeah. Sad Christmas.
We should all go to the Beaver Valley Mall and then kill ourselves.
I thought you were going to say do a show, but then, kill yourself is also the correct response to going there.
No, the show would be at
the Beaver Valley Mall and then kill ourselves.
The show would be at the Monroeville Mall. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah. Then you don't have to kill yourself. Somebody else is going to kill you. Because people get shot up in that motherfucker.
Wait,
anyway,
no, Century 3. That's actually where I was going.
Century 3, nobody shows up.
Yeah, Century 3 Mall is Century 3. Oh, I was thinking of Century 3 Chevrolet.
Lebanon Church Road,
Pittsburgh.
Minutes
from the mall.
Commercial.
Anyway, guys, anything else that I'm forgetting? Anything else we got to touch on? Check back for a little Boxing Day surprise to see what we're talking about there. And then the week after that will be our Cosmic Horror Showdown for January. Where your boy can your boy bring the trifecta?
No.
Can I bring it back
not.
3 times? I might be able to.
I'm just still coming back from this last month. And also this entire year that like I'm just sad. I'm just really sad about this year, and I was dealt a really shitty hand last month, and I need a win. I need a win.
Meg's a victim.
Take it up with Ben.
I love you, Ben. I do. I still love you. Don't worry. Still love
Meg's
you.
always playing that victim card. All right, boys and ghouls. For the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve.
All right, see you later. Merry holidays. Bye.
Merry holidays.
Merry holidays. Bye.
Merry holidays.